right, Murph, give me a second. Third.
Find the gear, dumbass.
Grind it.
Shut it!
What'd you do, Murph?
She didn't do nothing. Blew the tires off.
Murphy's Law.
Shut up!
What's going on, Murph?
Why did you and Mom name me after something that's bad?
Well, we didn't.
Murphy's Law.
Murphy's Law doesn't mean that something bad will happen. What it means is that whatever can happen will happen. And that sounds just fine with us.
Your service, Mauser.
The universe doesn't care about your plans.
No, bullshit! No, I want a rematch right now! This doesn't be hardback! It is unacceptable!
For many of us, whether we're young or old, ambitious or casual, whether we're sitting with our graduating class figuring out what comes next, or even sitting in a New York apartment quickly approaching your 30s and writing scripts for video essays, so many of us are trying to find our purpose in this life.
I have a purpose. You don't. And if you think that's some sort of blessing, it's not. It puts me at a huge life disadvantage. It means I have an obligation to see a very specific thing through. And with that obligation comes sacrifice.
And sometimes, when you think you have it figured out, when you've spent thousands of hours laboring away, and you look back at all the countless days that you hope to put behind you, at all of the people that you have stepped over to get what you want, and when you look back at all the dangerous situations you've put yourself in, not really knowing whether they would all be worth it in the end, and when you see how close you are to the finish line, the universe has a funny way of reminding us that sometimes
you haven't come far enough, I'm afraid.
What?
You have wasted your time coming here.
Part of what makes us human is learning to navigate our goals and interests within a universe that is chaotic by its very nature. The challenge here becomes interpretation. How do we interpret the signs that we may be heading in the wrong direction? How do we know when something is merely a setback on the path to something greater, or something in the universe giving us directions to alter course? How do we know, metaphorically speaking, when it's time to hang up the gloves and when it's time to double down? At the heart of this tension is Josh Safdie's 2025 feature film, Marty Supreme, a film that since its December debut has created a great deal of controversy over the film's deeply unlikable protagonist, Marty Mauser, in his relentless pursuit of greatness. Now, the hype around Marty Supreme was inescapable. It was impossible to open up social media without seeing some reference to the film, which is why I think so many people that went to go see it were turned off by it, not expecting the protagonist to be kind of a monster.
Let me hold 5 for gas money.
No, you shouldn't bet with money you don't have.
How the fuck am I gonna get home?
Walk.
But at this point, though, everyone should know that if you watch a Josh Safdie film, the protagonist is going to be bad and do morally questionable things. That's just his style. Asking Josh to write a likable protagonist is like asking Georgia O'Keeffe to stop painting flowers that look like vaginas. The film follows Marty Mauser, who is portrayed by Timothée Chalamet, a young shoe salesman and unconventional athlete trying to make a name for himself in the cutthroat world of table tennis. Marty is preparing to take the world by storm, setting up the conditions for a big payoff after his plans to win the British Open, which he believes will propel both himself and the sport of table tennis to new heights in the United States.
But I'm telling you, this game, it fills stadiums overseas. And it's only a matter of time before it fills stadiums in the United States, too, before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
While it's clear early on in the film that Marty has an almost unparalleled skill in table tennis, his approach to the game is less about love for the game itself and more about the business opportunities that come with its novelty. He's got branding ideas.
Oh, you're gonna like this. You know what they call their grip? The way they hold their rackets?
No.
They call it pen holder.
So what?
You can use that.
Use it for what?
For an advertisement or something. I don't know. You're the business guy.
He's got a philosophy on uniform aesthetics.
That's Jack Kramer, #1 tennis player. What's the difference there?
All white.
He's in all white. It's beautiful. To me, that's luxury. To me, that's class. You could sell
Marty.
that.
And he's got the swagger and self-confidence needed to sustain his dreams.
How do you live? Well, I live with the confidence if I believe in myself, the money will follow. Ultimately, my struggle isn't even about money.
How do you pay rent?
I don't.
However, beneath Marty's seemingly infectious charisma and self-confidence is a deeply rooted disregard not only for the consequences of his actions, but for reality itself. Marty's larger-than-life ego writes checks that his reality can't cash.
How much is my uncle paying for you to scare me? Because whatever it is, I'll double it for you to suck my dick.
What?
Suck my dick. Oh, you have
Watch your
terrible
mouth.
breath. You have terrible. Ow!
Let's go. We're going.
Ow! He just hit me.
He attempts to make business deals alongside his friend and business partner Dion, along with Dion's father.
Dad, we're talking like men about business here. I'm not getting you a cup
Get
of
me
coffee.
the damn coffee.
He promises great fortune to his friends, who he invariably drags into his schemes with very little regard for their health and safety.
I'm gonna be coming home with 10 times that. I'll buy you a medallion.
I
when
don't
I'm
want
back.
no
I'll buy
fucking
you a new
medallion,
cap.
Mouse. I
Come
got
on, don't give me a
kids.
hard time about this.
And above all, he sells himself to others as an investment that they would be silly to pass up on.
This is you.
Yeah, the chosen one. It's a nice picture, right?
Ping pong.
But of course, this image that he has created of himself, which also feeds into his future plans, hinges entirely on him actually winning the British Open. What could go wrong? Much of the film operates on this idea of what could possibly go wrong. The underpinning of this idea to the modern audience is Murphy's Law, but is it perhaps something else? While it's not rooted in any philosophical idea, Murphy's Law simply states that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. The practical application of this law is simply to expect the unexpected. However, this film treats Murphy's Law as something entirely more chaotic, and it's an observable phenomenon across many of the films in the Safdie universe, a phenomenon that I will coin as Safdie's Law. Safdie's Law isn't a refutation of Murphy's Law, instead it's an expansion that can be observed in 3 simple axioms. The first is the axiom of Murphy's Law, which for now we will take at face value. The second axiom is that when things do go wrong, expect the most ridiculous outcome.
Give me that.
The third axiom, and maybe the most important, is that the protagonist's decisions will always culminate in the death of at least one person. Now, the axioms in Safdie's Law aren't independent of one another, they form a chain of events. To see how the whole chain works in action, I present to you what I call the Moses sequence. 1. Marty is explicitly told not to use the shower. He does so anyway.
There's a room on the 5th floor. You can't use the shower.
2. Marty's bathtub falls through the floor on top of Ezra and his dog Moses.
Just bring the dog to the vet.
I can't. I
Just
got work.
drop
I
him
got a
off at the
job. I
vet.
can't get
You
fired
got
from
a
my job.
I'll give you double what you get.
3. Ezra leaves Moses in Marty's care. Marty loses him.
Good boy. Loosen up the collar on this motherfucker, man.
All right.
Man, he sound like a radiator.
All right, we're gonna go play and we'll drop him off at the vet on the way back. All right, what's a couple hours to this guy?
4. Ezra kidnaps Marty and his baby mama Rachel to track down Moses. Ezra and his gang are gunned down.
Oh, you motherfucker.
All in all, 4 people die in the Moses sequence, all because Marty used the shower when he was told not to do so.
I told you not to use the fucking
No, you
shower.
didn't. You're the one that rented me the room, okay?
There's an additional element to the first axiom that is unique to Safdie's style, in that his protagonists seemingly treat every setback as an opportunity to double down, but it's somehow embedded into the very fabric of the protagonist's soul that every wrong decision is the correct decision. It's as if they're all driven by an engine that they cannot see and cannot control.
It's every man for himself where I come from. That's just how I grew up, okay? Sometimes I feel like I don't even have control over
I'm really
like,
not interested in your excuses.
Due to this phenomenon, it may appear as though Marty doesn't face the consequences of his actions, and I've even heard this being a criticism of the film.
Thing is, Marty Supreme never forces Marty to reckon with his bad behavior, his evil ways, through either an inner dialogue or voice or any kind of serious consequences for his actions.
But the reality is far from this. The entire film, I would argue, is Marty dealing with the consequences, which become more and more severe the more he decides to double down. In this way, he's almost like a cat with 9 lives, except every time he lands on his feet, he's used up another life, and he has no idea how many lives he has left. The film also never lets a consequence fully disappear. It simply shifts our attention away temporarily, only for those same consequences to come back even stronger than before. In fact, his decisions in the first 12 minutes of the film will set up a chain of events that will chase after him for the remainder of the movie, only to be reintroduced at various different points throughout the plot. Marty's initial dilemma is that he needs money to purchase a flight to England for the British Open. He and his uncle Murray, the owner of the shoe store where Marty is employed, have a back and forth about when he will be paid for his work.
Speaking of which, can we settle up now? I gotta buy my plane ticket.
We'll settle at closing.
I wanted to see the travel agent on my lunch break.
You'll never come back after your lunch break.
That's what you think of me?
Yes.
Marty makes several decisions after this interaction. First, he decides to engage in intercourse with a customer, a young woman that we come to learn of as Rachel, who lives in his building.
I'm not talking to anybody. Judy's just been tying up the line for an hour.
Second, he decides to skip out on work during his lunch break, even after telling his uncle that he wouldn't do that. Third, while he's out on lunch break, Marty attends practice and attends a business meeting with his friend Dion and his father. Marty and Dion are trying to convince Dion's father to fork over a sizable investment in some custom merchandise that he believes people will buy if he wins the British Open. While he's out, Marty's mother also calls him to ask him to take her to the hospital, which Marty refuses to do. Upon returning back to work, now hours later, Marty learns that his uncle is now gone. He's gone to take care of Marty's mother, whom he refused to help. When Marty calls his mother to inquire about his uncle's location, his mother tells him that he's now gone on a trip.
This is sabotage. You're sabotaging me.
Please, you're sabotaging your whole life.
Marty then decides to rob his uncle's store with a gun from his uncle's desk, forcing his coworker Lloyd to hand over the money that he's owed.
Look, Murray gave that to me. Flip it over. Manager. I'm gonna be your boss. How unfair is that? I could fire you whenever I want. I could tell you to sweep the floor on your hands and knees. How about that, okay? Lloyd.
This is seemingly the end of it. Marty buys his ticket and goes on to compete in the British Open. Now, in his time in London, he interviews with some journalists covering the tournament.
Look, I'm gonna do to Kletzki what Auschwitz couldn't.
He attempts to set up a business relationship with Milton Rockwell, who is a ghoulish businessman from New York.
What happened to him?
What do you mean? He was killed. You find that funny?
I get nervous laughter sometimes.
He seduces his wife Kay Stone, an aging actor past her prime, and even finds the time to insult the head of the International Table Tennis Association.
I am finding this whole exchange really offensive.
You're offended?
I am offended.
I'm offended. You're making your star player huddle in a rat's ass.
But you have to remember that every decision he's made, every promise he's made, and every seed he's planted all hinges on him actually winning this tournament. Only that moment never comes. Marty loses the British Open in the final round to Koto Endo, a young tournament contestant who is thrust into the spotlight to bring glory back to his home country of Japan just a few short years after Japan's role in the events of World War II. Marty, who has now failed in his original endeavor, is given a temporary lifeline by none other than fellow competitor Bela Kletzki, whom we learn is a Holocaust survivor that survived the camps by appealing to the guards' interest in the sport of table tennis. The night before the final match took place, Kletzki offered Marty an opportunity to play table tennis as part of a traveling act with the Harlem Globetrotters, which Marty initially declined.
It's very sad what they do, okay? Some of the premier athletes on the planet reduced to acting like circus clowns.
But after losing the tournament, he agrees to join him, all while Endo becomes a national hero in his country. However, when it's time for Marty to finally return to America, seemingly to prepare for the next tournament and reclaim his glory from Endo, he's accosted by a police officer in his mom's apartment and is forced to answer for the robbery he committed in his uncle's store at the start of the movie. His uncle takes the money that he's earned while playing abroad and gives Marty two options.
You come back to the shop. This time, no more bullshit. None of this ping pong mishigas, okay? I'm gonna give you much more responsibility because, truth be told, you're an amazing salesman.
I could sell shoes to an amputee. So what? What's the other option?
I press charges.
You're not doing that.
Lloyd is a witness.
You're not doing that.
And you go to jail.
Really? Now, instead of agreeing to his uncle's demands, Marty quickly makes a decision to run away. This scene where Marty's running through the streets of New York paints a beautiful depiction of his dilemma, where his dreams and sins have finally reached a crossing point. Marty is on the one hand chasing his dreams, which at this moment happen to be found in Tokyo at the next tournament, while simultaneously running from his past and trying to avoid the consequences. The first place that he runs to for refuge is inside of a pet store where Rachel works, and here, Marty learns of the next consequence that he has waiting for him. He's going to be a father.
Excuse
That's
me?
not mine.
It is absolutely
No, it's not.
yours.
I pull out.
Yes, it is.
Does Ira pull out?
Marty's forced to flee again after Ira, Rachel's current husband, walks in on the two sharing an embrace.
I'll rip that unibrow right off his fucking forehead! You wanna get physical? Like an ape?
Now with nowhere to go and with no money left to spare, Marty takes refuge in a rundown hotel and meets his friend Wally to get together and make some money. This is what leads to the Moses sequence, but just before Marty falls through the floor, he learns that he's been fined $1,500 by the Table Tennis Association and has been banned until he's paid his debt.
What's the Ritz?
What?
You got a $1,500 fine from the International Table Tennis
What?
Association, and they banned your scrawny
Give me that.
Later on, Marty and his friend Wally are chased down by a group of guys whom they try to hustle in table tennis, leading them to lose Moses.
Dog, Wally. Fuck that dog. Eat the dog. Fuck the dog. And no.
Rachel eventually finds Marty again, this time at the training center, now with a black eye.
He just started yelling at me, and he was really mad, and he was ripping my clothes, and
He did this to you?
he was really scaring me. I just didn't know where else to go.
Marty slips away again, this time back to his mother's apartment where he finds her sleeping on his bed. He grabs one of his trophies and pays Ira, Rachel's husband, a visit.
Shame on you!
Marty decides to take Rachel to his friend Dion's house for refuge, lying to him and telling Dion that Rachel is actually his sister and needs a place to stay. It's at this moment that Marty learns that Dion's father had actually given them the money that they had asked for at the start of the film.
I contacted someone at Helix. They colored the celluloid for me.
How?
Money, baby. Me and my pop, we believe in you. We're invested. That's why he's been so mad.
Much like his attitude towards table tennis, Marty sees people for what they can offer him in the moment, and he uses them, even if it means that doing so will put them in danger or causes them financial harm. He doesn't think twice about lying to his friends or even about scamming them because to him, the only thing that matters is his bigger picture. Everyone and everything is just a stepping stone. What is even more detestable about his character, which I will argue is actually an additional element of the third axiom, is that Marty has no consideration for the people that he has sucked into his schemes and that have gone along with his lies, especially when they're no longer useful to him. The reason that this is an additional element to the third axiom is because death doesn't just mean physical death. Once Marty has finished extracting the value out of somebody, they cease to exist entirely. One of the scenes that best illustrates this is the second bedroom scene in Dion's house. Here, Marty and Rachel had previously stolen Dion's father's car while Dion was distracted, and they return it in bad condition.
Give me the car keys.
Okay, they're right here, okay? We got into a little fender bender.
What?
But it's gonna be okay. It's minor damage. I could pay for it.
How? When?
Dion tells Marty that they can no longer stay in his home as his parents are now back from vacation and they would not allow it. Rachel puts on a performance for Dion, guilting him into allowing them to stay.
Where are we gonna go No, because I'm sorry. You have a bed right here, and I could be sleeping on it. And I got a baby in me.
Marty here notices that Rachel's black eye is running down her cheek, revealing that she had made up the story about her husband Ira hitting her. This leads to a big fight between Rachel and Marty, which wakes up Dion and his parents. Marty tries to get Dion to play along with a scheme about a business meeting that the two have in the morning.
Hey, we have a meeting with Spalding first thing in the morning for the Supreme samples. Dion set up. Dion, tell him about the meeting. Dion set it up.
But Dion doesn't follow along. Now Dion's father and Marty get into an argument about Dion.
I give him meaning. All you do is give him money. I give him purpose.
Leading to him throwing away the custom balls they spent all the money on outside of the window. This is the last we will hear about Dion. Outside of Dion's home, Marty lays into Rachel, who up until this point was really one of the few people that not only full-heartedly believes in Marty, but also does her best to go along with his schemes, and not to mention the fact that she's also carrying his unborn child. In so few words, Marty shoos her away, but not before ridiculing her first.
How much do you make a year at the pet store?
$1,200.
Okay, in case you forgot, I have a week to make $1,500, not including airfare. I need to focus right now. No distractions.
Even after Marty says these things to Rachel and treats her the way that he does, she still tries to show up for him and puts herself in danger for him, trying to scam Ezra, the Jewish mobster and owner of Moses, out of the thousands of dollars that Marty needs to get back into the tournament.
I don't know who you're playing with, girl. Okay, here's the money.
Care. Can I show me what's inside the envelope? How am I supposed to know there's anything in there?
Yeah, you want to see?
Yes.
Yeah, look. Okay.
Now with nowhere else to go, Marty turns to Kay Stone, the aging actor and wife of Milton Rockwell, the business tycoon that Marty had originally met during the British Open.
Did you use my razor to shave your legs? It's dull. I've cut myself.
No.
Who's that, your husband?
I guess someone must have snuck in and chopped wood with it then.
I'm on the phone.
Marty had previously attempted to steal what he believed to be real jewelry from Kay's neck, but upon taking it to the pawn shop, he discovers that it's just costume jewelry.
Came from the neck of a millionaire. I saw it come off her neck.
I don't care.
Marty catches Kay, who is now preparing for the opening of her play, which is being financed entirely by her husband.
He's funding your whole show, right?
Where'd you get that idea?
Well, I overheard him complaining about it in the lobby.
Complaining?
Yeah, about the costs.
Fuck himself.
Oh, completely.
But it's a significant milestone for her, as the film tells us that it's been a while since she's performed in front of an audience.
Well, she was big?
She was huge.
Came and went.
That's it. Yeah, it's Hollywood, Mike.
Yeah.
Marty tries to swindle her yet again, telling her that he was bringing back the jewelry that he felt bad for stealing. Kay, who's been another one of Marty's stepping stones up until this point, gives Marty a cold reality check that he can't fool everyone.
You know what I think?
What?
I think you went to sell that and discovered it was junk.
No.
And now you've shown up here with this ridiculous strategy to get me to have some sympathy and open my wallet.
That's absurd, Kay. You think I would insult your intelligence like that?
Are you going to keep going?
Keep
You're
going
going
what?
to keep on with this?
Just being myself.
You're lying through your
No,
teeth.
I'm not. It's me being
This
me.
is pathetic. You're being you.
I'm telling you the truth. I stole from you, and then I feel bad about it, so I'm
You're
trying to make
wasting
amends.
your energy. I don't care. I would have stolen from me, too.
Kay sends Marty away, but drops him a ticket to her play and writes him a note to meet her at Central Park after the show. When the two meet, Kay brings him one of her fine jewelry pieces, which are gifts from Milton, who rewards her with one every year on their anniversary.
I have 25 of them. One for each year of misery. That should cover your trip and then some.
Marty and Kay start to get intimate before they're accosted by two police officers who threaten to arrest them. Kay offers up the jewelry piece that she had originally given to Marty in exchange for their freedom.
Take it. It's yours.
Thank you very much.
Marty, who still does not have a way to get to Japan, begs Kay for another one of her necklaces, which she eventually agrees to.
Do you think you could grab me another necklace?
Are you serious?
You said they mean nothing to you, and it just took you a couple minutes.
I was just gone for half an hour. I can't go up and come right back down
You
there.
said
I have a
you'd do
house
that for
full
the
of people.
police
My
officers?
mother is up there.
Marty waits outside of her house for a little while, but begins to grow impatient as he sees groups of people leaving their house, and he goes inside to find Kay himself. Marty discovers Kay sobbing in front of a group of people over the bad reviews that her play received on opening night, likely the final straw for her career as an actor. Kay is an interesting character in this story whose behavior parallels many of Marty's behavioral patterns. Between Marty and Rockwell, the three of them form a sort of cat and mouse game where each becomes a parasite that feeds off of one another. Kay uses Rockwell for his money to regain her career, while Rockwell uses Kay, likely as a symbol to improve his status, but nothing more than another asset that he has to manage.
I pay you to say no.
She seems to think that this is carte blanche. I can't just perform the impossible
if
here.
you can't control her, I will find someone else who can.
Kay also uses Marty as she likes the idea of a much younger man paying her the attention that she's been desperately craving for a long time. Part of what makes Kay so enticed with Marty is that he often validates her feelings, even if Marty's full of shit.
Can't believe you're acting again.
That wasn't acting. He won't let me act.
Yeah, no, that looked frustrating. What's the deal with that guy?
Marty also uses Kay for everything from basic necessities to obtaining money and status.
How do you plan on eating food today?
Honestly, I was gonna order room service the second you leave.
Throughout the movie, despite his interactions with both Kay and Milton always seemingly ending negatively, Marty never truly disposes of them like he does his closer friends, whom he routinely uses and throws away. The reason why we're always reintroduced to Kay and Rockwell is simply because they always have something that Marty needs. Interestingly, I think this logic also applies to Rachel, whom we're routinely reintroduced to throughout the film. While she can't provide Marty with money or material goods, she provides him with something real. And that is love.
No, that's crazy. You're gonna take the surgery because you love your mother. Well, then I guess you don't know anything about love.
Marty tries to use Milton Rockwell as a business opportunity, but Milton, having been a schemer for much longer than him, tries to turn the tables on him several times throughout the film, with varying degrees of personal effect for Marty.
Aren't you playing in a vaudeville circus act right now?
What do you mean vaudeville? Finish that sentence. What are you implying?
You're the halftime show, Marty.
Of the Harlem Globetrotters, of the finest athletes on the planet.
Milton Rockwell, like his real-life counterpart Kevin O'Leary, is a vapid, gluttonous waste of space, a man that embodies everything wrong with America, really just a cancerous leech growing on the ass of humanity. He embodies Marty's worst qualities, but somehow still has the capacity to be worse.
Because you have no power here. Now bend over.
Like Marty, Milton uses and disposes of people, but also drags everyone through the mud down to his level and demands total embarrassment from them in the process. On top of this, Rockwell values absolutely nothing besides money, and I know I've made it seem like Marty is also a character that values nothing, which I would still argue is mostly true, because even something as seemingly sacred as his Jewish identity in the short years following World War II is all just another thing to extract value from.
It's alright, I'm Jewish, I could say that.
But Marty, at the very least, respects the sanctity and spirit of competition, whereas Rockwell doesn't even respect that. Shortly after Marty's loss at the British Open, and after trying to use Rockwell to pitch some business ideas, the two meet at a restaurant in Paris where Rockwell lays out a business proposition for him.
Okay, listen, I need you to understand what this thing's about. This is not an official match. It's not even a real game. This is purely promotional to entertain the Japanese people, so they buy more of my pens, okay? You're gonna play a few games, you're gonna be great, but you can't play better than Endo.
You want me to lose?
This idea also comes after Rockwell partially blames the Jews for the death of his son in World War II, despite the fact that his son was killed in action during the American mission in Japan.
You were in one of the camps, weren't you?
Auschwitz-Birkenau, yeah. Why do you ask?
My son lost his life liberating you.
I'm sorry for your loss.
I thought you were liberated by the Soviets.
We were.
It wasn't the Americans, it was the
I
Soviets.
didn't mean it literally. He was serving the South Pacific.
Marty calls him out on this, leading to a strain in their relationship.
I'm funny to you? You know what's funny to me? That you want to entertain the Japanese so badly and they murdered your son. That's funny to me.
Despite leaving Rockwell in Paris on bad terms, Marty attempts to get the same deal back on the table multiple times, even going so far as to lying to Rockwell's receptionist just to get his location.
What?
Well, hey, Marty Mauser. Nice to see you.
Did you call my office and say you're friends with my son?
Yes, but I had no other way to get in touch with you, please.
After Marty's last hope is seen drowning in her own tears, he takes the drastic next step and signs a deal with the devil just to get to Japan in time for the scheduled tournament. This is perhaps the most revealing scene in the entire film. We're shown Marty in his most desperate and naked form, saying and agreeing to anything that will get him closer to achieving his dreams.
Just let me go on your plane and let me join you there, please. Please, I'm humbling myself
You're
before you.
making me sick.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Stand up.
All right, all right.
Marty abandons every single one of his remaining principles and subjects himself to total embarrassment just to cut a deal with Rockwell, whom we know is just going to use him for his business agenda. This scene is also revealing of Rockwell's character, who won't let a couple of insults get in the way of a good business opportunity, especially when that opportunity can destroy someone's life in the process.
Please, okay, I'll do anything.
Oof. Oh, anything.
Yes, anything.
Okay. Go down the hall. Second door on the right is my office. Grab the paddle and bring it back here.
This is more dramatic than the play.
As part of this deal, Marty, who at least previously honored the spirit of competition, decides in that moment that it's okay for him to lose to Endo on purpose, even though the thought of this previously sickened him.
I don't care about table tennis. This is theater. What are you worried about?
My reputation.
Your reputation?
Yes, it's my reputation. I don't want to throw my reputation in the trash for you. I'm not doing it.
As an additional part of their agreement, Marty agrees to let himself be spanked by Rockwell in front of his group of ghouls, which is only the beginning of his planned humiliation ritual.
So here's what I want you to do. I want you to bend over that chair and drop your pants.
Okay. Are you for real?
You've been a really bad boy, and now you're going to get a spanking.
Come on. Are you serious?
You want to get to Japan, don't you?
Yeah, I want to go to Japan, but this is what you want?
That's what it's going to take. Now bend over.
Okay, so to be clear, you're going to bring me to Japan, and then you're going to compensate me.
Marty returns to the training center where he tells the owner that he figured out his way to Japan, but he doesn't seem at all happy about the circumstances.
Hey, where you going?
Yeah, where you going? To Japan tomorrow morning, 8 a.m.
Whoa. 8 a.m. Oh, you going? You got that money? Oh, good for you, man. You ain't look like you excited.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Here, Marty also learns that Rachel has been kidnapped by Ezra and his gang, who pay Marty a visit at the training center.
Give me 2 seconds. I just want to say one thing to my friend, okay? 2 seconds.
2 seconds, yeah, but I'm not going to be here.
Where are you going to be?
Where am I going to be? I'm going to be downstairs taking a hammer to your girl's stomach.
Marty takes them to the location of where Moses was last seen, and the crew heads up to the steps of the farmhouse to search for him. The owner fires several shots outside of the house, instantly killing one of Ezra's partners and injuring Rachel while she's sitting in the car. Ezra and the owner exchange gunfire, leading to both of them being killed. Marty tries to get in the car to escape, but the injured Rachel, even through everything that has happened, pleads with Marty to go get the money that he needs from Ezra's body. In what turns out to be another sick joke from the universe, Marty pulls out an envelope from Ezra's pocket, which is stuffed with a few bills and lots of pictures of naked women.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
You got it? I got it. You got the money?
Yeah, I got it.
Is there a lot of money?
There's a lot of money.
You can go now.
I know. You did amazing.
You can go on your trip.
You did so good. You did such a good job.
Marty drives Rachel, who is seemingly in shock at this point, to the hospital, where he leaves her once again, this time finally getting his ride to Japan. What could go wrong? Now finally in Japan, Marty approaches the commissioner of the Table Tennis Association at Rockwell's event and tries to apologize to him for his previous transgressions. The commissioner informs Marty that he will not be competing in the tournament as the schedules have already been made.
You're not participating this year.
No. I think you're confused. That's what I'm doing the event for, so I can pay off the rest of my fine. Come talk to Mr. Rockwell right now.
The tournament's less than 2 weeks away. All the bracketing has been set.
Yeah, but redo the bracketing.
I'm not going to tear up the entire schedule on behalf of one entitled American.
No, Mr. Safdie, look, I'm here. I don't think you know how difficult that was for me to come here. I'm in Japan right now.
You haven't come far enough, I'm afraid.
Everything that Marty has done up until now, all of the scheming, all of the humiliation, and all of the bridges that he burned was all part of his larger plan to compete at this tournament and win glory. And it was all for nothing. Only after learning that his opportunity has slipped away does Marty finally learn about the second part of Rockwell's plan to humiliate him. Not only is Marty supposed to lose to Endo on purpose, but Rockwell has set up a punishment where the loser must kiss a pig.
Mr. Endo agrees to the match.
Great.
On the condition that the loser has to kiss a pig in front of the entire audience.
A pig?
Yes.
A pig? What?
Although Marty had previously laughed at his own Jewish identity and even poked fun at the horrors that Kletzki endured while in a concentration camp,
I'm gonna do to Kletzki what Auschwitz couldn't. Okay, I'm gonna finish the job.
This move by Milton was a step too far. However, my honest read about this moment is that I do believe that had Marty been able to compete in the tournament, he would have kissed the pig. I just don't see this crossing his line, as long as he gets what he wants out of the situation. It was really only by pure luck that Marty finds out what his future held before he was put into that situation, but had everything been strained away, I think he would have done it, and he still almost does. Marty shows up in front of Endo and loses the first match on purpose. It isn't until they finally bring out the pig that Marty conjures up an escape plan. He uses up another one of his 9 lives and gets the crowd to demand a real match between him and Endo.
Who wants a real game? Show of hands. Wait, this man. Marty, you're right. We want to see the real game. Yes.
The two face off in a close match where Marty just barely edges against Endo in the final moments, victory just within reach. Rockwell, who previously tried to stop the two from facing off in a real match, now speaks to Marty backstage where he tries to intervene.
I was born in 1601. I'm a vampire. I've been around forever. I've met many Marty Mausers over the centuries. Some of them crossed me, some weren't straight, they weren't honest, and those are the ones that are still here. You go out and win that game, you're gonna be here forever too. You'll never be happy. You will never be happy.
Now, I've seen multiple interpretations of Rockwell's vampire line, some ranging from the history of capitalism to the line being about how he views himself with relation to power, which I do think are all mostly correct. The line was supposedly written by Kevin O'Leary, who had also pitched an alternate ending where Rockwell finds Marty many years into the future and bites his neck at a concert. But in my initial watch of the film, my mind immediately raced to Shakespeare's All the World's a Stage speech in the play As You Like It.
This wide and universal theatre presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play in.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. His acts being 7 ages. Last scene of all, that ends this strange, eventful history, is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
I thought about Rockwell's vampire line as a callback to Shakespeare to say that there will always be characters like Rockwell and Marty, but the Rockwells always win. Shortly after this interaction between Rockwell and Marty, do I believe that Marty finally enters a redemption arc. Marty, who has sacrificed not only himself, but also the people around him in pursuit of his goal, is now disillusioned with the potential future as a great table tennis player. What Marty seeks now is his own death. Not literally, but symbolically. Marty now seeks the death of his own ego. But why? It goes back to Shakespeare's speech.
Martin would like to be an actor, but unfortunately, he's not very good.
Oh, well, you know, Broadway needs ushers too.
Marty is a character that will always have to answer to other characters like Milton Rockwell. So in order for him to live a fulfilling life and find true happiness, Marty has to stop being Marty. Marty must stop being the Marty character altogether.
You go out and win that game, you're gonna be here forever too. You'll never be happy. You will never be happy.
All right. Okay, Mr. Rockwell.
Marty now turns his attention back to Endo, where the two have a close match that goes down to the wire. Marty uses up his 9th life, and in the final moments, he clinches the victory. Marty falls to the floor, finally getting that moment of true joy, happiness, and peace that he's been denied his entire journey. In the end, however, this is a shallow victory that only means something to Marty and not to anybody else. In killing his own character, Marty takes down Rockwell with him, whose business entry in Japan is likely to be affected. But the real question is, was it all even worth it?
You know, Marty is incredibly hardened by the ridicule that he has to endure every day by the fact that this thing that he was put on earth to be the greatest at is a laughing stock to most people. No one takes it seriously. And it's like a joke. It's like a cosmic joke. He was plagued with being the best at something that means nothing, that does nothing for him.
Josh Safdie described Marty's dilemma as being cursed with being the absolute best at something that nobody cares for, and I do think that there is something genuinely tragic about this dilemma, about the thing that you love, the thing that you sacrifice yourself to, either not loving you back or giving you nothing in return. However, this is only true if you take the premise that Marty loves the sport of table tennis at face value. I would actually argue quite the opposite, that Marty doesn't actually love the sport. In fact, the times when we see Marty at his lowest and most miserable is when he's playing alongside Kletzki. And I already know what you're gonna say. Well, gee, I win, you lose. He's miserable because he's not actually competing, he's playing in a circus act. And to that, I would say fine, but these 9 months gave him the ability to travel the world, play table tennis, even if it is just in a circus act, and get paid while doing it. And besides, you know who does love table tennis? This guy. Are you really going to argue with me and tell me this guy doesn't literally love the sport of table tennis? This guy who survived the concentration camps thanks to his status as a table tennis player? Marty sees table tennis for the value that he can extract from it, while Kletzki sees it as something that gives life, something that he wants to build and make better, something that he just wants to share with the world, and something that he selflessly shares with his friend Marty, just as he does with the honey that he finds, that he uses to feed his fellow man. And that is because Kletzki is everything that Marty is not. One of the things that I find most revealing about his character is just how Rockwell reacts to Kletzki's story in the camps.
And I smear the honey all over my chest, my arms, everywhere.
Why?
Because later that night, I let all my bunkmates to lick the honey off of me for nourishment.
He's completely dumbfounded by it, while Marty uses it as another talking point to distract Rockwell and make passive attempts at his wife who's sitting across the room. Neither Rockwell nor Marty, at least not in his current form, could ever understand why Kletzki did what he did, because doing so would require a level of self-sacrifice in the service of others that they are simply not capable of. Now, compared to Endo, and even in victory, Marty falls short by comparison. Endo, who has been thrust into the national spotlight after his win at the British Open, is seemingly playing for something greater than himself. He's playing for his country's re-emergence and legitimacy on the world stage. 米国選手もまた雪辱を果たすべく再戦に臨むでしょう。しかし遠藤選手は一人ではありません。8400万の国民の復興を遂げた我が国の不屈の精神とともにあります。Marty and Endo are total opposites even in their approach to their game style. Marty is flashy and wears his heart on his sleeve when he's competing, but Endo takes a more conservative approach. He doesn't talk, he calmly observes. Endo, who we learn is audibly impaired, must rely on his other senses to compete. At the beginning of the film, one of the problems that Marty's trying to solve for is the fact that his eyes have trouble keeping up with the white ball that is used during normal play. This wasn't a problem for Endo during the British Open because Marty was seen wearing black, but becomes a problem for him during the exhibition match in Japan as Marty takes off his jacket and reveals a white shirt underneath. But even in defeat, Endo is still respectful and acknowledges Marty's victory, whereas Marty refused to accept defeat and made a fool out of himself in his loss in the British Open. Part of what makes Endo's victory so difficult for Marty to accept is simply because he doesn't view Endo as a legitimate competitor.
Wait, Japan brought a team this year? You see this?
Yeah. The Japs sent a team.
What about the travel ban?
They must have lifted it.
No more travel ban?
Now, the reason I believe this to be true is because there is a general attitude of disapproval towards Japan's reemergence on the world stage.
Japan? Mm-hmm. Japan has a team here?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
How'd they get around the travel ban?
Because table tennis is the fastest growing sport in the Asias. It's huge over there.
Marty questions why Japan is even allowed to compete following the atrocities of World War II, and there has to be some real bitterness there, with the world seemingly ready to move on from Japan's role in the war and welcome them back with open arms.
You made Endo a national treasure.
Why are you showing me this? Do you think this makes me want to lose? It makes me want to win.
Marty's other problem with Endo is that he's using a different paddle than him, one that does not produce the sound that he's accustomed to.
You understand that, right? It's the racket that beat me. He's a mediocre player.
This This leads him to believe that Endo has not worked as hard as him, when in reality, Endo has been playing at a physical disadvantage his whole life and has probably had to work just as hard, if not harder. Only after defeating Endo do I think Marty finally respects him as a player, but again, this victory only means something to Marty. If Endo is the type of competitor that I think he is, he's just going to shrug off this meaningless loss and go on to win another title with his country behind him. Endo will continue to compete because Endo is not Marty Mauser. At the end of the film, Marty hitches a ride back to the US with some military personnel that were present during his match. Marty goes to the hospital to visit Rachel, whom he finally shows up for after having dismissed her so many times, and sees his baby for the first time. This is a beautiful circle of life moments where Marty finally comes face to face with his future and breaks down crying as he's overcome with the emotion. This is an ambiguous ending that leaves us with some open questions. Is Marty crying because he's elated with becoming a father, or is it because he knows that this is truly the end of his table tennis career? Will Marty abandon his family like he has abandoned so many other people in his past? Now, in answering the question of how does one know when it's time to hang up the gloves and when it's time to double down in our lives, the answer lies in part in figuring out the distinction between love and obsession. You see, to love something is to express an outward satisfaction. It is the desire to share the thing that you love with the world and want to see it grow. To love something isn't to keep holding on for dear life, it is to accept the fact that the thing that you love is capable of growing in your absence. Kletzki understands this better than anyone, and by the end of the film, I believe Marty has begun to understand this as well, but it isn't until he comes face to face with a new life that he must grapple with this question. For most of the film, Marty is convinced of this radical notion that he can become something greater than himself, that he can control the chaos of the universe with his paddle.
Like with me, I'm never accepting anyone's help. I gotta do it completely on my own, purely on the basis of my own talent. Otherwise, it's like the success won't even count. But that's just me.
Yes, well, that's very easy to say.
Well, it's easy to say, but it's sure not easy to do. I mean, you know that. That's why you cashed out.
This notion made an impression on me from the very beginning when I went to go see the film at my local Alamo, where they were handing out these posters showing Marty with the universe on top of his paddle. And that's where I think this movie gets a bad rap. Marty has this infectious belief in himself that is inspiring, that we can pursue our wildest dreams. Even when Marty is knocked down, which he is repeatedly so throughout the film, he continues to get back on his feet and back into the hustle. You almost kind of have to respect his resilience and perseverance, but that is not what the film is trying to promote. Instead, the film treats Marty as a cautionary tale of allowing oneself to feed too much into our own delusions. Marty is not delusional about his skill in table tennis. He may very well be the best table tennis player in the world. That is real. But what is not real, and what is a delusion, is everything else. Marty is delusional about how business works, how relationships are formed and maintained, and ultimately, his most tragic delusion is thinking that any single person can control the chaos of the universe.
And what do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work out?
That doesn't even enter my consciousness.
Okay, maybe it should.
Wow. You sound like my mom. No offense.
You sound like a child.
While it often seems like Marty's setbacks are cosmic, and maybe some of them even are, but the mentality that we ultimately have to escape is that Marty's setbacks are born out of anything other than his very own doing.
If he's so committed, why'd he stop the scene? Why didn't he punch his hand through the screen and unlock it from the other side? Right? That's what I would have done.
Chaos has the propensity to create new and beautiful things. For Marty, this chaos leads to the destruction of the self, and out of it comes something entirely different. The young man who we watch scamming the old lady in the beginning of the film is not the same young man we see sobbing over the birth of his child. That man has been beaten. He's been brutalized, but ultimately molded into something new. It is only after Marty accepts his fate and allows himself to embrace the chaos that he finds a moment of true happiness and a moment of true peace. The new Marty doesn't have to run anymore.
It's okay, sleep. I'm here. It's okay. Shh. I'm right here. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. Go back to sleep.
The universe doesn't care about your plans. But maybe that's the point.